Hello everyone. Let's talk about this question. It's called Petr and Book. We are given two things in this question. One is the number of pages in a book that Peter is reading, and then we have a list of numbers that corresponds to how many pages our character Peter is reading on a specific day. For example, in this input example, the number of pages in the current book he's reading is 100, and on the first day he reads 15 books, second day he reads 20, 20, 15, and so on. Our goal is to figure out the day when he finishes the book, and we'll be considering the natural order of the output, Monday through Saturday, or Sunday rather. Let's actually go through how I was thinking about this question. We are obviously given the number of pages that we have, and then we have essentially a string of numbers, which is good, but since we might need to access them again and again, we can also put them in an array, which is what I did. And each of these arrays, for example in the question here, it was 15, 20, 20, 15. So our array here would look something like 15, 20, 20, 15. What was it? 30, 10, 30, 45, 10, 30, 45. And then we continue to go through this array while our num pages is greater than 0, and then we just continue repeating this until this while loop ends. And at the point the while loop ends, we will simply output the position of the array that we are in. The problem here is we might not have enough pages in a week for our character to finish the book. So we have to make sure that we are also taking into consideration if he continues to read the book next week, what day of the next week he will finish at. And my initial thought was to just keep incrementing the counter and then do a mod 7, but we can also do it another way, which is slightly simpler. So rather than doing I++ and then at the end when the program is done, we can just do I mod 7 and figure out what position they would be in. We can also do the same thing by doing this I+1 mod 7. This is essentially doing the same thing, but I'm not sure which one will be more efficient. I'll be using this one, but I believe this one might be more efficient because we're only using the modulo operation once. Regardless, let's get into the code and let's see how that looks. I will be starting off with my template. Once we have imported the template, we will input number of pages and we will initialize our vector, which has integers, and I'm just gonna call it day pages at number, and it has 7 values, so that's why the 7. Now we have to input each of these values into the array, so we'll run this for loop for 7 times because 7 days of the week, and at each instance we will essentially input day pages at the position I. This is the place that we have initialized all of the stuff, except I guess the day, and day will be 0. once we have done that, we just have to go through the while loop while making sure the number of pages is greater than 0. As it goes to less than 0, we simply output the day that we are currently parsing through. So while pages is greater than 0, we will continue reducing the value of pages by the corresponding day. So you can see here, so on day 0 we'll be accessing the first part of the array, or first element of the array, and we'll continue increasing the day count as well. So this while loop starts like this, and we will continue reducing the pages and incrementing the day, but also doing modulo 7 together. What this essentially does, like I mentioned earlier as well, it is like I++, but we also do mod 7 to make sure we iterate through the array again. We go through the array again. Once all of this is done, we would just have to output the position or the day that we are at. However, the problem is we can be at day 0, or our modulo here would output the value 0, and that would only happen when we are at position 7. So our day plus 1 value comes out to be 7, which happens to be a Sunday. But since this value, or day plus 1 modulo 7, would be a 0 if day is 6, our code will think that, oh, since we're at 0, it has to be a Monday. So in order to counteract that, we will just create an answer variable which will check if day that we did here is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, we will output a 7 because that's its rightful, I guess, answer. But if it's not, and the modulo operation does not come out to be 7, we simply have to output the day that we're at. So if this was, let's say, 3, we'll just do 3 plus, or day was 3 before this, we'll just do 3 plus 1, 4 mod 7, which is 4. So we can just return that. After doing this, we just have to output the answer itself, and that is it. One thing we have to do here is to include vector because we used it here, but that's about it. This code should work. Let me know if you can find a better way to do this. I'm sure there is a better way to do this. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.